Hi everyone, I am Jay Gombach here at Porsche Center Calgary, and I've brought with me my esteemed young colleague.
I'm Zach, very esteemed
young colleague. Today we wanted to shoot a video a little different than usual. Today we want to talk a little bit about and compare, contrast the current lineup of Macan. So today I'm going to represent the older, more experienced, tried, tested, and true petrol Macan, and Zach.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about the new Macan EV that they just released just over a year ago now, and what's different about it and who best that would suit.
I'll start because I have seniority here. Macan, been in North America since 2015. We've seen a couple of revisions since. So this is the current model lineup, 2025. I have in front of me the GTS. I think that we're using this one just to be closer on price and performance to your Macan. So power plant, I have a twin turbo V6 putting out 440 horsepower and PDK. So as an overall package, the Macan is quite sporty. We've taken technologies from our sports cars, put it in there, and gone from there. You have quite a different power plant.
Yeah, so mine's going to be looking very different. So for me, we're going to be operating off two different motors, one on the front axle, one off the rear axle, and then obviously coupled to a battery on this one that has, net capacity of 97 kilowatts on it. And then what's really cool about this is no gears or anything. Instant torque, you're going to have 385 horsepower going to the wheels there. And then the cool thing about electric cars is when you go to initiate a launch control, really hard acceleration there, that's actually going to be jumping up to 402 horsepower. So yeah, very different power plant, very different mechanics to it. Both are fantastic. This will obviously be providing a little bit of a different feel in terms of likely being a little bit more comfort oriented than the petrol Macan. The car itself has grown to be, about 3 inches longer, wider, taller, heavier. And then the actual drive itself, it's got more of an emphasis on electronics. I'd say that float over the bump sort of feel. So for those people who are kind of prioritizing comfort, assistance systems, even a little bit of extra space compared to the combustion engine Macan, really that's who's going to be looking for this vehicle. Even things like, let's say, permanent internet in the connection in the vehicle, if you want the embedded SIM card, more connected on a day-to-day basis while you're driving the vehicle without needing to use Apple CarPlay for that, this car's going to have that. So,
on the other side of things, now I'll preface, I love both these cars. I'm just representing this one for today. This is a little bit more of an analog experience. We get a mechanical gear shifter. We have an analog tachometer. And again, I think you kind of nailed it. This, especially with the adaptive sport suspension, the air suspension, super wide tire profile, you are going to feel a little bit more of the road. It does handle exceptionally, even over the bumps. But again, it kind of focuses a little more on the performance side of things. We get beautiful sport exhaust in the GTS, lots of great noises, pops, bangs, all that good stuff. Both cars do offer all-wheel drive, I think are excellent, even in our beautiful Calgary winters, if we get snow overnight and things like that. This car being, well, both rear bias for the most part. I know we can get into some different all-wheel options in the electric cars, but this one will let you go a little bit sideways in Sport Plus mode in the winter. So again, we can still go camping. We can still go up to the mountains. There's enough cargo in both cars as well. But again, a little bit more analog, a little bit fun, a little bit sporty. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Just things keeping in mind with the electric vehicles that I'd say you need to be willing to be a little bit more integrated with the vehicle in your lifestyle. Driving around town, most trips for most people, to be honest, are going to be very simple and straightforward. You unplug the car in the morning, go about your daily routine. Even on somewhat longer drives, let's say you're going to drive to, Banff and back, or head out to Sunshine for ski day and back. I mean, the great thing about these is that starting on these new Macans here, like I said, releasing, into 2024 is when we first started getting them. Even on a -30 day, like you should be getting high 300s, 400 kilometers of range on the coldest temperatures we see here, more likely averaging as a year-round average, closer to 480 to 500 kilometers with the new cars, the new battery technology. So for most people, you're going to have more than enough range for your daily activities. It's just going to be on the road trips and it's actually a lot easier to do than people assume. You just need to plan ahead a little bit more, do the research. There's tons of trip planners out there, but when you're doing that, like I said, you're having to go about a task that you may not be accustomed to or used to, or maybe even not wanting to do if you're getting into combustion engine one. So that's what I'd say about here. You just have to be prepared to put a little bit more time and effort in terms of, like I said, specifically on road trips using these vehicles, but it's absolutely doable. Charge stops now, I find, are faster than most people assume. And the whole process, it doesn't need to be a hassle. If you put 5-10 minutes into researching your route, knowing where you're going to stop, it can be quite an easy thing to do. On to what Jay was saying a little bit about winter driving. I spoke to the battery capacity a little bit there. But even in like the fun factor he was talking about in that combustion engine one compared to here in terms of, for one, the vehicle actually being geared, being able to kick that ear or rear end out, having some fun there. A little bit harder to do here. Like I said, the priority on this is going to be more so kind of just developing traction, and then things to keep in mind with the EV, where they can actually be fantastic winter drivers, is if your priorities, let's say on safety, all-out traction. For one, you get a little bit more weight in this car, but because everything's electronic instead of mechanical in it, your all-wheel drive systems will be able to react that much faster. Even traction control is reacting quite a bit faster than what you'd have in petrol Macan. So yeah, if your priority is just straight up safety, all-out grip on ice and winter roads, whether it's the Macan EV or a Taycan, they're absolutely fantastic for it.
Yeah, that's excellent. And we both have had a chance, not that most people are going to use it for this, to drive both on track. And
Absolutely.
although this is, I say, more of a focused sports car type vehicle, this is still a Porsche. This thing is still a riot to drive if you want to do that as well. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It's definitely say like the engagement level on like a track or sporty driving situation is a little bit higher in the combustion engine Macans. But these, you have so much performance in electric cars. You put your foot down, you have that instant torque, that instant acceleration. They're all of them lightning quick. The Macan 4 model, which is your standard model really, you start with that 385 horsepower, it accelerates to 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. It's incredibly quick. And there's just so much suspension technology going into these cars now that even though this is the bigger chassis now, the car's heavier, still handles super, super well around corners. And especially for electric car, and Porsche does a really good job with this in any of our vehicles, they still do a good job of maintaining road feel on these. You don't lose it just because it's an electric vehicle.
Yeah, well said. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope that helps. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thanks, everyone.